Welcome to God Power Live, where the original woman comes to connect with her likeness and refine her emotions so she can end the inner war, end her unnecessary suffering and time wasting, so she can come out into the world, be great, do what she came here for. My name is Naima. I am here every weekday at 12 p.m. Pacific, here on Facebook and here on TikTok. This week, I'm here at 12 p.m. Pacific, and that time could change. Today's topic is when people can't handle you, i.e., you're dangerous. Today's topic is when people can't handle you, i.e., you're dangerous. And today's topic is to the original woman. Thank you. The love below, I want you to know, thank you. Glad you're here. The love below. Please share with us what you mean by that, because I made up what it means to me, and I would love to hear you share what that means to you. I love it, by the way. The love below. Before I get started, I'd like anyone here who would either like to engage with me, who would like me to answer any question you may pose, would like for me to consider any comment you may leave here in the chat, that you are required to have a profile photo up to get a response from me. Okay? No profile photo, keep your mouth shut. Okay? So, how does it feel to be alive today? How does it feel to be alive today? Have you asked your grandmother what was it like for her to be alive at your age? Have you asked her? Have you asked your great grandmother what it was like for her to be alive at your age? Okay. The love below says true love and deep love for self. I'm telling you, true love is where it's at. By the way, the primal nature of the original woman is true love. The primal feminine nature of the original woman is true love. Everything else is the layers in between. Everything else. I don't care how I look. I don't care how sentimental and how appealing it is to the male gaze, how appealing it is to your mom and your grandma and everybody else, because you're such a good mom. If it ain't your raw, primal, feminine nature, it's a lie. It's a pretty lie, but it's a lie. So, good afternoon. Is it? You see that question, Love Below? Somebody asked, isn't the Love Below an Outkast album? Is it? So, when people can't handle you, i.e., you're dangerous. So, the reason why I asked the question of what is it like to be alive today is because I wonder, have you, or how much have you really dropped down low within yourself? How high have you gone? Have you removed yourself and backed up off of your everyday life of waking up, breakfast, kids for the day, go to your job, go to yoga, do this, watch Netflix? How much have you backed up, backed all the way up, went down low? I remember Beyonce talking about she went through a phase where she stopped looking at herself in the mirror, because we start looking at ourselves and we start having ideas about who we are and how we look, and right? So we're constantly communicating with ourselves all the time about how we look at ourselves, how we think about ourselves. And she was talking about going through a metamorphosis and getting to know herself. And she said for a window of time, she stopped looking at herself in the mirror. That's one of the ways you get down low, where you remove yourself from your everyday activity. And it's like the layer of you that is you, you get underneath that. And you find different ways to get underneath that so you can see more clearly. Because we're so bogged down with, I got to do this, and the deadline this, and the goal this, and I'm losing weight, and I don't like my stomach, and I got to cook this, and my birthday's coming up, and I'm trying to travel there, and So what is it like for you to be alive today? What does it feel like for you to be alive today? How does it feel in your body? How does it feel to let your stomach relax? How does it feel to let your jaw relax? How does it feel to look at somebody without, how does it feel to just observe and feel as you observe? All right, there you go. So answer that to yourself quietly. Now, in that observing others, sharing physical space with your mom, a man, whomever, and in that rested place, speaking and being and allowing more of your nature to rise and come out, what is that like for you? First of all, have you ever even done this before? Right, because we're all at different degrees of power. Okay, we're all at different levels and different degrees of power. Okay, so if you've never sat in the presence of your mom, a man, whomever, and you let your jaw relax, your stomach relax, your pussy open, right? Like you relax your pussy, the entry to your vaginal walls, and you don't like try to perform anything. Meaning you don't try to be who your mom knows you to be. You don't try to appear good and together in front of this man or these men. You don't try to be anything. You allow yourself to be. I don't know how many of you have done that here. Okay? If you haven't, you need to do that. This is one of the ways you start to get to know yourself. Okay? For most of us, we're reactive. We let shit build up, right? If you're married, you constantly do things in the marriage to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good whatever, and you constantly do that at the expense of the truth of who you are. You constantly do that, and then if you have people reinforcing that behavior, you're much more likely to do it. So if you have your husband who seems to be pleased or you think that's the way to get him not to cheat or to get praise from him, right? That's reinforcement of you living the lie to appear like a good mother and a good wife, right? If you are, whatever the thing is, you want to keep up the facade of having it together, right? Because people see you as the together one, as the secure, safe one who's responsible, right? And at the expense of looking responsible, there's lies that you're not telling. I mean, there's truths that you're not telling, okay? And so while on the outside, you got it together. Like in the material world, you got it together, right? You got your real estate portfolio, you look good. You look good, girl. Girl, you looking good, girl. People want to know your makeup routine, your skincare routine, okay? But your ass ain't breathed good. You can't even remember the last time you breathed good. You can't remember the last time you slept good and deep and woke up truly refreshed. You can't remember the last time you really laid down, opened your legs, and smelled your pussy, enjoyed your pussy, felt good in your body, expressed yourself without thinking 27 motherfucking times, without self-doubting and stuttering and thinking, and you can't even remember the last time you was true like that. And the last time you was true, niggas lost their mind. You crazy. No, yeah. See, because, aren't you, see, that's irresponsible. See, that, Or maybe you beat yourself up about it. Maybe nobody else said nothing, but maybe you beat yourself up so hard about that because when you live in a world where you're constantly told what's a good woman, and that example of a good woman is just a woman who's just perfected lying. Ooh, she has perfected it. Bitch, she will hold her breath. Remember women used to wear corsets and they would lose oxygen? Oh, girl, you get so good at holding your breath. Girl, and you're going to be the praised one. Girl, you're not breathing good, you're not sleeping good, but girl, you know how to get up and put that smile on and you know how to, girl, you the master liar. The master liar. And so many of us agree to do that, and for good reason. Let's put some compassion on this. Remember, we couldn't have real estate, credit cards. We couldn't get nothing done without a male gendered person being there for a long time. Okay? So we had to learn. Do people understand that we had to learn to become good liars? Like, do you get that? When you start putting yourself in other people's shoes, you can see things real good. If you look at it from a distance, you're going to be like, that bitch, you lying at. It's easy to be very judgmental when you look at something from a distance. But when you put yourself in that person's shoes, and I say this to the men, if there's any men watching, there's always a few. Okay, if I was a being who, if I didn't tether myself and attach myself to a man, I was going to struggle in life. I was not going to be able to have food. It was going to be very difficult to eat. If I had children, oh my God, we were going to be in dire poverty. I know. So when that's the reality, like that's the reality worldwide, right? And you see, okay, how it's done. Okay, so you have to be like this and act like that, right? So what you do is you train generations of women to lie. That's what. So then men, it just becomes a normal thing. Men just think this is how women are. And then that's why today it's being shaken up so hard today because our grandmothers and great grandmothers, they told the husbands and the grandsons a very different story than what they told the daughters and the granddaughters, correct? Very different story. She's not going to turn to the husband and say, I wish I wouldn't have chose you. I only chose you because I was scared of this and I didn't. She's not going to say that. But all of us know that what was grandma telling you quietly? Make sure you put some money to the side. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. So because we've been mimicking and lying for so long, the men think that this is actually how it goes because they are learning by watching how we act and move and live and breathe. And so now they think, women been doing this for thousands of years. Who are you to be breaking? This is the standard. This is the norm. Well, you can't blame them because great grandmothers and great great grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers and great 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 grandmothers was acting like this. So yeah, they think that's just put yourself in their shoes. Of course they think that. Don't be mad at them for thinking that. A lot of us mad as fuck at men, but don't be mad at them. They are responding to how our whole line has been behaving. Because we think that we're alive today, so we have a very different view of things. I'm 44. This has been my life. Most of us will never talk to a woman who was alive in 1850. Most of us will obviously, right? Don't know the stories of a woman who was alive in 1550. Yeah. What is she gonna say? What would she say about what it's like to be a woman? What would she say? You see the perspective here. So when you start realizing, okay, what was it like for your great 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 grandmother in 1850? What was it like for your great, 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 great grandmother in 1750? What was it like for her? What story would she tell? How did she behave? How did her husband behave? How did her husband view her? How did he view what her position was, what his position was? Empress says, yes, we are not lying anymore. Thank you, Veroni. Hi, Veroni. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? So, of course, men think what they think. Put yourself in their shoes. So, then how do we change that? Great performers, exactly. We become great performers out of survival, out of necessity. So, now here you and I are today, and because the internet has opened up, be grateful, the internet has opened up, so now we get to hear what the women in Korea are saying. Y'all heard about the 4B movement in Korea, right? All these young women, a whole generation refusing to have children, refusing to get married. Y'all heard about the 4B movement in Korea? We only know about that because of social media, because of the internet. In 1850, you only knew what your next door neighbor was doing, if y'all was talking like that. So you get to hear what's going on with these women in Pakistan. You get to hear what's going on with these women in Sudan, tribes in Kenya and other parts of Africa where the women run it. It's because of the internet. We can see this now. And we started to see and like that we didn't even think about certain things because we were mimicking what we saw in our environment. We didn't even think about certain things. This is why we have heard, some of us have heard our grandmothers and great grandmothers say, I never even thought about that. I had a woman tell me that her great grandmother told her that she only ever dreamed of children because that was the only thing there was to dream about. Okay? So now here you are in 2024. What? First of all, do you feel blessed? Do you feel blessed? You in 2024, where women have billion-dollar real estate portfolios, when in 1970, that ain't that long ago, 1970, women couldn't have real estate without a man somewhere being involved. Her husband, her father, some other man who she was attached to. 1970. That wasn't that long ago. Today, we got women with billion-dollar real estate portfolios. Credit card, you don't even think twice about getting a credit card. But my mom was born in 1960. When my mom was a child, women couldn't have credit cards. But today, we have no problem. We don't even think twice about going to get a credit card. We don't think twice about going to look at getting finance for a loan somewhere, to get a car, to get a house, to get a... Women traveling alone like it's nothing now. What? We wasn't even thinking about traveling alone in 1950. Now it's a whole movement. Shout out to Stephanie Perry, and I can't remember the other woman with, I can't even remember the name of the movement, but basically helping particularly Black women travel abroad. Bop around the world, move abroad. You see, that's why I encourage women to speak. No more shame. That's right. This is perspective I want you to understand. And now, what are, particularly the male creators who are like 30 and under, 35 and under, they speak in a whole other tune than the ones that's 45 and older. You see that? You see that? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that the male content creators who are 45 and older versus the male content creators who are 35 and under, and do you see the difference in how they're talking and how they're being? Do you notice that? Why? Because of the women. Because of the women. Because great grandmother told the granddaughter, who's 27 today, don't get trapped like me. If the daughter is married, great granddaughter's married, she's telling her, make sure, yes, your husband can take care of you, that's great, all that. Make sure you have your own. Why are they telling them that? Why? Why did Beyonce say years ago, remember in that interview with Oprah? This is when Beyonce was still giving interviews, okay? Remember she was on Oprah and Oprah asked her, she said, so what is it like to be a wife? Did y'all see that interview with Beyonce and Oprah? Oprah said, what is it like to be a wife? She said, because I know a lot of women like being like, my husband. What is it like to be a wife? Did y'all see that interview? Y'all quiet in the chat. Beyonce said, and you could probably go find it on YouTube right now. I'm pretty sure you can. I just look for Beyonce Oprah interview, and there's clips, and maybe you'll find the full interview. Who is Stephanie? Love Stephanie. Who is Stephanie? She said, before you get married, you need to know who you are. I'm paraphrasing, but she said something like that. Before you get married, know who you are. Know who you are. Before you cleave and get clenched to another being. Because as soon as a woman starts to see herself through the eyes of her husband, it's one thing to be aware of how he sees you. It's another thing to decide that you're going to see yourself exclusively the way he sees you. Because what do you and how you see yourself have to do with that? That's why Beyonce said, know who you are. Get to know yourself before you cleave to a husband. So everything I've just shared here is build up to when you are too much for people, or people can't handle you, and you become dangerous. Let me look at my notifications over here. Hey, April. Many of the men who are 35 and under, who are content creators, they are responding to the women. I'm repeating that your job as a primal feminine being, and most of you are not, okay, you will get there inside of my company. Let me say this. If you are a financially successful feminine leader, if you're a financially successful feminine leader, and you're ready to come into your primal feminine power, for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, to be great and to do the very thing that's succinct and specific to you, obviously. Also, to be an example for the women who are looking at you and for the world who's looking at you everywhere you go. You start inside of my Embody Your Platform Masterclass. It's all about owning all energies, all of them, and then obviously the root one, the original one, is your primal nature. So that, all of you can move around the world and you know how to handle danger and threats and difficulty with greater ease because you live in your home base is your primal nature, which is animal, which is instinctive, which is who you are when you stop lying all the fucking time. So the masterclass is tomorrow. You register with the link in my bio. It's called Embody Your Platform Masterclass for financially successful women, leaders, witches, weird ones, black sheep, etc., who are ready to go from hiding, being fearful and repressed to being out and great in the world. Again, register with the link in my bio. So I have said that our job is to be. Okay, I know that sounds so simple, yet it's not easy. And that men respond. They're going to respond. Like I've said, how they have watched us for centuries, and so now they just think this is who we are. It's because they're responding to how we have been behaving in our survival ways. Now we see that the ones who are 35 and under, they sing in a whole different tune. Why? Because they're responding to all of the women that they're seeing on the internet now, because more and more and more and more of us are now out, not only on the internet, but they're meeting us in real life, trying to date us, talk to us, interacting with us, and they're seeing that women know now. Now we know too much. We have the internet. We're now having honest conversations. We're being true. We're being raw. Women are coming out. Women aren't lying anymore. Women are making their own money. And everything that women were operating as out of survival, which means if a person is going to live from survival, they are lying. They are going to say whatever they need to say to eat, to have a roof over their head for their kids to eat. I mean, what are you going to do if you can't eat and live unless you tell whoever's giving you the food and the money that they are great, that you are fantastic, I need you, I couldn't live without you, you are fantastic? And I mean, you see. Yes, Empress said, have your own identity outside of yourself. Thank you for the compliment. Jewelry? Your jewelry. And so the men are now responding to the women. Now, the ones who are mad about that are the ones who are the loudest, right? The ones who are upset about that, they are the ones who are, you see it. They are just, they don't want it to be like that because they want things to stay the same. Where in that lens of women lying and under the Christian patriarchal lens, a man was entitled to a woman, whether he had money or not, whether he respected her or not, valued her, he was entitled, which is why so many men today literally feel entitled to a woman, no matter what, no matter their character, their attitude, their responsibility, they feel entitled to one. No 3-year-old boy feels entitled to a woman. They are programmed like that over time, living in a society of liars and Christian patriarchal ways. Now that the lying is over and there's no longer this survival behavior for women, the men who actually want a powerful woman are responding differently. They are speaking about the need for honesty in relationship, for the actual woman to be full and expressed and whole, and recognizing, wow, the woman is a powerful thing. My job as a divine masculine man is to really support her being in the world. Are you guys seeing this from the younger men? It is truly encouraging and inspiring. I would like to hear in the comments. Are you guys seeing this? Their content typically is not the content that goes viral. Typically, y'all know the content that goes viral because, you know, the platforms need us to be on their platforms. So they push, you know, people like to respond to all of the angry, you know, because all the nasty, ugly shit. But boy, in my feed, I see young black men. When I say young, I mean they're typically under 40. I'll tell you that. They're typically under 40. And they're telling you also what's going on with the men who are mad. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to change. They want a woman no matter who they are, no matter how, and they don't want actual nature. Because when actual nature kick in, women is going to be choosing supreme beings. When real nature comes in, real nature, right? When a woman becomes masterful in and of herself, and then she chooses from there. A good 60% of humans are alive today because of survival relationships, because of contractual relationships, not because of actual nature. Hello, Raven. Take that in for a minute. That a good 60% of humanity is alive today because of survival-based relationships. Not from women being in masterful positions and then choosing males and procreating from that place. And then the next generation of humans and the next generation of humans are supreme beings. Do we recognize that? Like if you really take not if when you really take that in, it's like wow. So you see why so many men are like mad. Well, they're part of the inferior ones who had things been right, they would have never been born. Are we aware of that? Are we aware of that? They would have never been born. So when y'all talking about women keep choosing these bums and women keep having babies with these bums, listen, that can even happen. The bums can exist because it's been a survival system for so long where women have lied and cleaved to any male who could give them food, who could give them a house. And y'all, folks been talking about that's natural order. Oh Lord, forgive them for they not know. Some of them do know and they just want what they want. I mean, because let's get real. If your system was in place that entitled you to, okay, if I marry this person, they gonna do my laundry, give me sex when I want it, cook my food, raise the kids, clean the house, and all I gotta do is pay bills, ain't you gonna fight to keep that going? So you understand why married men be like, women need to get married, cause yeah, of course. Well, I mean, shit, god damn it, look at all the benefits you get. Now let's flip it, where the women was getting all them benefits, and the man was the one doing all the cooking and the cleaning and the. You see what I'm saying? So, tell the truth. Times are changing. Listen, you might end up dating a 36-year-old man who gets it. I'm just saying. So the ones who can't handle you, y'all should grow the fuck up. Come here, let me coach you. That's on Jay-Z song. That's on that I got a million ways to get it. I got a million ways to. That's on Blueprint. Y'all know that song? I got a million ways to get it. He said, y'all should grow the fuck up. Come here, let me coach you. They don't want to grow up. Okay? So we have compassion and understanding. See, because when you know how things got to how they got, why they're like this is why I say you can't even blame men for thinking how they think and thinking it vehemently because it's been this way for so long. So long. It's all inverse. You are correct, Luvinia. It's all inverse. That is absolutely correct. So shout out to all the young men. When I say young, I mean under 40. I still think 50 is young, depending on what angle you come from. But, the men under 40 who are creating content, who are coaching, who I see here on TikTok Live sometimes, who are, bless them men, bless them. They want powerful women. Have y'all seen it? I ain't heard nobody tell me. Who was that who said, I've noticed a subtle shift? It is subtle. It is pretty subtle. And then if you start to pay attention and like and engage more with the content that the young men are putting out, you'll start to see more, and you'll see it's actually not so subtle. If you're not really paying attention, it seems subtle. But if you're really paying attention, you see it's a lot of young men online who want a woman. And many of them, they are ready to serve. They want to serve. So many of us are just so out of order. We don't even know how to place men correctly in our lives. We really just think men's job is to protect and provide, and like still in the marriage way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a man protecting and providing. It's just the lens through which we look at it. Whereas just the traditional marriage and like that's how it goes, and that you can do that if that works for you. And clearly it doesn't work for so many women. So let me see. Somebody said, hi, Empress. Again, I've seen a mix. Some men are big mad. Yep, that will continue. They don't want to grow up. And others truly understand that when they listen, lives change. And serve. The feminine is to be served by the masculine. I wish I could remember this man's name. He's a white man, actually. His hair looks like he might have some, all humans have some color in them deep in there. But his hair has a little wave to it. But I think I don't know what he is exactly. But he had talked about that. He gets it, man. I shared his podcast before, maybe like a year ago. And he's like, with my woman, he has a powerful woman. He said, I realized really my job is just to serve her. I really realized that's like my real job. And I said this, like 2 weeks ago. Young Pharaoh said, black men been out of order so long, they think their job is to lead and guide, when really your job is to defend the chariot, serve the chariot, protect the chariot. And many of these young black men, all men, not even just black, but black men, they know. These younger ones, they see it. But they only see it because of the behavior of the women. You need to understand your job as a woman is to be a full woman. The ones who don't like it, let them not like it. They not growing up. Y'all should grow the fuck up. Come here, let me coach you. Jay-Z said that. Y'all should grow the fuck up. Man. And many of them are not going to grow up because the former system served inept men. It entitled you to a woman regardless of your status, regardless of how responsible and how much of a man you actually were. So they're going to do that. Prioritize the life that you know you are meant to live. Prioritize you. Prioritize your energy, your being. The men will respond. Yes, I am. To answer your question, my name, yes, that's right. My dad was a big fan. My dad is a music producer, so he was a big fan of John Coltrane. The men will respond who you want to respond in favor, who are worthy, they will respond in favor. Remember, over half of the human population would not exist if we were in true natural order. Over half of the human population exists out of survival relationships. Dr. Umar talked about this. He said most relationships and marriages in the black community are based on contract and what you gonna give me and do for me. So what you think gonna come out of that? What kind of agreements, spoken and unspoken, do you think are gonna be in that relationship? See what I mean by when you start telling the truth? And a lot of men don't want to, women too, both don't want to raise up to the truth. Because when you raise up to the truth, now we're talking about a whole new level of responsibility. Now we're talking about a whole new level of power. And when the dominant world, it just lies, and they believe them lies wholeheartedly, boy, they will defend them things hard and heavy, then when you are rising in responsibility, you recognize that you're coming up against that. And that's why so many of us don't want to come out in truth, because you are going to come up against that. You haven't built up the muscle. Another reason why my community is here. Thank you for all those hearts. What about Charles Finch? You see what I mean? So any questions? I'm getting ready to roll up out of here. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for sharing it. For those of you who have shared it, welcome in to those of you who have just come in. Thank you for staying. For those of you who have hung around, is there anything you'd like me to speak on? I have a little time to speak on a particular topic, and it's great for the creation of content. Thank you for the follow, Tay. Thank you for liking the live, Bernard. You just realized you was holding your breath. Yeah, I'm telling you, we do this stuff so we are masterful at lying. We're masterful at playing small. We're masterful at not getting our needs met and making excuses as to why. And most of us don't do anything until the pain becomes great enough. We will endure pain for years. We will endure not getting our deep needs met for years. And we will tell other women why they should go without getting their needs met. And we will back it up with what society is telling us, with what our husband is telling us. And so other women get in line and hold their breath and not have their needs met and be so dissatisfied deeply. But because dominant society encourages women to abandon themselves at the for everybody else, times are fast changing globally. The women in Korea, girl, in mass are saying that they're not having kids and getting married. What? There's a clip that went around. It's not viral anymore, but it was. It was basically Pharrell saying that women could rule the world if they wanted to. It was an interview he was in, like on the red carpet. And he said women could completely change the trajectory of humanity if they just decided that they weren't giving birth anymore and that they were only going to mate with certain males. If women decided to do that worldwide in mass, the planet would change. That's your power. He said women could decide that they not going to them jobs no more and that they not going home. And they would change the world. Do y'all understand? Do you know how Korea is going to change with a whole generation of young women saying we not making babies and getting married because we don't like how this shit work and how these men are acting? Do you know how different Korea is going to look in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? This shit is happening in mass. Listen, the truth gonna stand. What Lauryn Hill said, the chain of shade tan wasn't made that strong. Trying to pretend like your word is your bond, but until you do right, all you do will go wrong. The chain of shade tan wasn't made that strong. Trying to pretend like your word is your bond, but until you do right, all you do will go wrong. Bitch, I could die today and the truth still stands. You could die today and the truth still stands. What a glory it is. Y'all better live on behalf of your great-great-grandmother who couldn't live like how you could live today. You're welcome, Raven. I don't know who Charles Finch is. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for following Say No. All right, love and light don't work. There's a place for it. You cannot be in true love and light until you get into deep intimacy with the dark. If you're just trying to do love and light because I need to manifest, or because I'm scared of the chaos of the dark, or a lot of it is just gripping because people are scared. They need to grip into what's familiar, what they have been defending, what they hold chest for a long time, because they actually don't know who they are outside of the life they've created for themselves, and they don't want to find out. It's too unpredictable. It's too unknown. I don't know who I'm going to be, how my money going to get. This is it. Okay? Most people are coming at love and light from that angle. When there can be no light unless there's dark first. Shout out to, I can remember her name. She stitched my video yesterday. And she talked about, she used the example of why they tell you not to wear black in the summer is because it absorbs light, because all light comes from the dark. And she referenced black holes, which I have talked about with black holes. They hold and contain all light. And this is actually true with the black holes in our universe. And the original woman is a black hole. Oh my God. Woo. The community is here. if you want a safe space to truly develop yourself, okay? And again, this is for those of you, you're not just, well, my TikTok community, who you just sort of hang out with when you feel like it, or you're just looking for a little boost. But I mean an actual family, a real family, where, you know, before, this is your family. That's what this community is over here. And you start with the Embody Your Platform Masterclass. My battery is going to die soon here. So as soon as I get the light that I have 5%, I'm going to end it here. So just know that that's coming. That we are black holes. In my community, you're going to get very comfortable with humiliation and embarrassment. Vulnerability. You need an environment to do it over time, not just one time. You know, we're gathering in Atlanta for Women Gods Gather in March. Get your ticket. Details are with the link in my bio. Just go look at it. Go look at it. Don't ask me questions right now. Go read the details. The details will tell you. The 16th, 17th, and 23rd, Women Gods are meeting in Atlanta. Get your tickets. The link is in my bio. Click on Women Gods Gather. Your need to be a certain way, your need to look a certain way, your need to like and belong and grasping makes you hold on to a way of being that ultimately doesn't give you what you actually want at a fulfillment level or at the level of the life that you want. So the part of how you start to really open yourself up to allowing the true divinity in you to guide you, and where there's a true flow. A lot of people talk about flow. You didn't know damn flow. You gripping like hell and calling it flow. Oftentimes when you really rest and open and allow life to take you, it actually takes you somewhere else that you wouldn't have chosen. But you're gripping so hard that you don't allow the true of you to come out and guide your steps. How you do that is you, everywhere that you want to clench, everywhere that your breath gets shallow, everywhere where that feels too vulnerable, too unfamiliar, too scary, to lean into that because it has something for you. There's a reason why you grip. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to know why you're so scared? Don't you want to know why you grip? Don't you want to know what's in the unknown of you? Or not. Maybe you don't. I mean, if you don't, then shut up. You don't want real full power. Just, you know what I mean? Go ahead. But the environment for you to do that, where this addiction to doing it alone, go off and do it if you are committed to doing it alone and taking forever to do something you could do in 3 weeks. In the community, you can embark on things that you're scared to embark on. Things that you're scared to embark on because you're in your own head thinking about it. Like, should I? You're journaling, and then night after night after night after night after night, but you're not moving. When you're in the environment, physical, starting in Atlanta in March, and then in our online community, which is private because it's paid that you come into and you commit and give your whole self over to yourself, then you can traverse something that's really naughty. I had a Zoom meeting with a grandmother on Monday who's like, I've been somebody's whore, I've been somebody's wife, I've been somebody's daughter, I've been somebody's grandma, like all the things. And she wants to explore so much of herself and she needs the environment. This is a grandmother saying this. So don't think that you 35 and you got time to run and hide and wait and play small, because you're going to end up a resentful grandmother if you don't tell the truth and come into your power. And this community is rare over here. It's rare. This ain't just a TikTok community. We'll be stitching videos like, girl, no, you are going to go into really dropping into your darkness, really humbling yourself into the depths of your unknown self, your true primal feminine nature. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I'm at 5%, y'all. So somebody said the divine goddess is rising again and order will be restored. That's right. All right. I love this engagement. Keep the engagement going on every live. I'll be back here tomorrow. Get inside. If you are a financially successful feminine leader and you know you're ready to come into your primal power, register for the Embody Your Platform Masterclass. It's happening tomorrow. Register for the link in my bio. Also, check out Women Gods Gather in Atlanta. Love down below. Make your way to Atlanta. I look forward to seeing you all back here, 12 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. And if you ever want to see the full replay, come over to Facebook, facebook.com/Naima Singletary #1. Y'all take good care of yourselves. Oh, Lord, I can't even see the end button. So I might just let the battery die because now the screen is dark and I can't. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye, y'all.